I'm Garry Fabian Miller. I live on the edge of the east side of Dartmoor. I make pictures directly with a beam of light onto light-sensitive photographic paper. I intervene between the light and the paper in a dark room to enable a range of different images to exist. The objective is to make visible the felt or invisible, and the photographic process that I have used enables that to happen. I'm interested in extreme experiences of all the light in the world and hardly any light in the world, and in these places something significant can happen. So hopefully the pictures make the viewer think about those kinds of things, think about themselves, where they are and kind of what matters. But it should be fun. You know, life ought to be that. The photography I grew up in was a craft skill which you had to learn, and the dark room is a place where skill can be taught and learnt to a very high level, as with weaving or potting or other craft skills. So these are places which I think matter, and so I'm attracted to people who make things. So that's why I would go to Dovecot. And then I think through these visits, you know, a conversation began with the director of Dovecot, and I was interested to make something because I viewed it as an exciting opportunity to collaborate with people who had a skills base which was as developed as mine, and together we might make something which otherwise wouldn't exist in the world.
So he came to us with the great concept of trying to create rugs that are a gathering place, like hearth rugs. So he thought about like ancient firesides and these things, and he wanted those rugs to be that you gather around them. So he brought in a couple of prints, and these are very shiny and glossy, wonderful photographs. The big challenge for us tufters was that, of course, now we've got a photograph as the original, which meant let's translate something that's photoreal into wool, which is not the easiest thing to do. So the thing we had to do was look at the effect of the photograph. So what does it feel like looking at, and what does it want to tell us? Something that is cosmic, but at the same time quite domestic. So it has that wide reach of like sitting at home, looking at the rug, being on the rug, but also thinking about supernovas and star clusters and these things. So we made some samples and sent them to Garry to see how the gradation that we are planning to do, if that works out. Because the biggest thing about these rugs is the gradation and the contrast between the dark parts and the light parts, so that it can really shine. Because normally wool soaks up light, but for this rug we had to make it shine. There was a lot of freedom in making, because he trusted us as craftspeople to choose the right colors to get that effect. Once he knew that we understood what the piece is, he was very happy for us to just go ahead and choose the right colors and make the piece. And then the funny thing was that as I finished one of the pieces and it was laying out on the floor, I worked on the second one, Garry suddenly appeared and I turned around and he was just on the rug without shoes, just walking the rug. That was quite funny. It was quite, that image burnt itself into my memory. It was good. He then had an exhibition. His photographs, big scale photographs that they just shine and are just really, really impressive, and had the rugs at the same time displayed on the floor in the room, and they were shining just as much. So yeah, that made me quite proud seeing that show.
My first experience of seeing the rugs was walking into the weaving floor, the rug being put down on the floor, walking around it. It was a very exciting experience because you know, I don't put my pictures on the floor, I don't walk around them. There's an incredible intensity coming out of the blackness which exists in the rug, and in the center of this we've the kind of fire image burning, which has an intensity somewhat like the way the light comes off the picture surface, but the significant difference is I am able to walk onto the rug, and as soon as you enter the rug space, it's a totally different experience than looking at any image on a wall. There's a level of pleasure in it that I couldn't have imagined when we began the process. In the case of Dovecot, I've got the chance to work with an equivalent figure to me who's committed years of their life to acquire these skills so that they have got a knowledge of colour, materials, how to mix the materials, how to mix the colour. So by collaborating, we're trying to understand each other's making language and our colour language, and also to trust each other. But for this relationship, I would never have had that opportunity, and I knew that the thing had worked. You know, we had made something which was totally different and was terribly exciting.